Okay, so the next piece we need to make is the main body that bolts that base we just made, holds the needle valve assembly. We'll do the turning. We'll do the turning here. We get all the turning operations done on the various pieces, and then we'll go over to the mill and do the milling in another episode. So we'll start with this 3/8 brass rod here. It's just a hair over a 1/2 inch long, so we'll give it about 3/4 of an inch. It should give us room for the parting tool. Now, when you turn the OD down, the outer diameter down, just till this tube, just barely a slip fit on there, so somewhere around 348 thousandths. So go to the turning tool. We'll use this top slide to set the depth position. Okay, so took that into about 600 thousandths. There's plenty of room to clean up. We're at about 370. Check the fit of our tube. Let's see. A little bit more to go. Fits with our tube. It's a little more snug than I would like, so take a little more off there. Pretty good. Slip fit, not a whole lot of play. Now on the end here, just for the air to go by, we're gonna put a little lead on here. Nothing real precise. Take that right around the 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to drill this, and we're going to drill this tapping size for number 256, 2-56. Need a smaller center drill. Okay, put some threads in that. I don't need to put a whole lot of threads in there because we're gonna be drilling a hole out in the middle of that. Put some threads in here on the lathe. Well, we got up on the lathe just to start it off. Put the bigger chuck in here. This out of the way. As you probably notice, I'm not using any oil on this stuff. This brass is pretty free cutting. I haven't been using any kind of oil on this stuff. Okay, like I said, we'll run them threads through later if they need to go deeper, but they should be pretty close. The length we're going for is about 512, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 512. Well, there's that. I'll flip it around and deburr it. Put in the chuck the other way just so I can put some threads in the other side. Eventually, in a future operation here, I'll drill and ream a 1/4 inch hole in there to hold the fuel valve, the needle valve assembly. That'll be a project for another episode. Okay, so the next part I'm gonna work on is the venturi. This is the nozzle with the venturi in it. I'm going to deviate slightly from the previous one I built because I want to put a 90-degree head on this. The drawings have warnings that if you get too long of a tube on there that it has some issues, so I'm going to shorten this slightly, probably about 1/8 of an inch, just to keep the length of the tubing down. So I need to turn this down to fit inside the same tubing once again, but just to the shoulder. I also need to have, like I said, the venturi inside of it. I made some custom single bit or D-bit tooling to do that. I took some old drill bits, machined the profile in them, and cut it flat. And for this brass, this seems to work okay. That gives us the internal shape of the venturi. Now it'd be nice to have a D-bit grinder so I could do some stuff like this someday, but I don't right now. So we use what we got. Turn these down, face them off with a carbide end mill. Left it about 1 thou above center, so I had some stock on there for me to hone it down, and once I honed it, pretty close to being on center. I'll bore this out with a small drill, put the 1/2 of the venturi in here, turn the shoulder down to fit in there, then I'll part it off, flip it around. I'll do the other side of the venturi with the big long taper once I flip this around and it's supported more fully inside my 6-jaw chuck here. So I'll get the rotary phase converter fired up and get at it. This part's going to end up to about 1 inch long, so we'll drill the center hole just over 1 inch, so when we part it off, it should go all the way through. That's about 1 1/16 inches. Now this is a single edge tool. It's going to get some pressure on it. So this small 1940s lathe, we want to be easy on it. So this will take a few minutes to peck this in here. Get this so I'm going to set it up as short as possible for rigidity. there it is. There's the bottom half. Bottom half of the venturi. So put a shoulder in this, except the tubing. A small little sharp pointed tool here so I can get in the corner and make a fairly sharp corner. So the goal is to have 175 thousandths deep shoulder. It's going to end up around the same 348 that we made the body to, just a slip fit for this tube. This one we want to have almost a press fit. $363. I'll take 10. We'll take a few thou cleanup pass, spring pass, and cut a spring pass, and we'll measure it and see how close we get. $350, maybe just a touch under, half a thou under. I'm gonna say that's pretty good. That's a pretty good snug fit there. I don't want it too tight because there will be an air ring that goes around this, and if it expands this tube, and that'll be a tight fit. So all it took was just a quick hit of that 220 grit, wet and dry sandpaper. That's a pretty good fit, I think. 50. a drill point left in there, so we did pretty good on that drill depth. This is a fairly good six jaw chuck. It's going to be dialed in. Dialed it in recently, so it's in pretty good shape. So. Knock the end of that burr off there. This is the side that has some more pressure on the tool. So I've got this long form tool that's got to go up in there. By the time I get to the end, this whole edge is going to be cutting, so I'm going to have to sneak up on that and take it easy. Here we go. Take it easy, clearing the chips out as you go. Don't always evacuate its own chips, so they'll bind up in there, but I'll keep clearing them out. There it is. Take it and deburr it. That should be it. Now the one difference between the straight up vertical one is the vertical burner I put a small shoulder, internal shoulder in there to hold a piece of stainless steel screen, which is a flame holder. Since this is going to have a 90-degree head on it, I'm going to have a flame holder out on the end of the head, so I don't need to put that shoulder in here. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's the venturi.